It's Thursday, February 22. In the headlines, special service workers to vote today for local government candidates. In business news, the Bank of Jamaica maintains policy interest rate at 7%. Regionally, Saudi fund officials explore Nevis's geothermal project. And in sports, Gibson McCook relays on track for February 24. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Three groups of essential service workers are at this time casting their votes for their candidates of their choice to represent them in local government. Over 10,000 officers from the Jamaica Constabulary Force and a little over 4,000 Jamaica Defence Force personnel and 25,000 election day workers are set to cast their ballots. Polling hours are from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Director of Elections Glasspool Brown says provisions are made in law for these electors to vote 3 days before the rest of the population to ensure that they are available for duty on Election Day. Election Day workers, military and police personnel who do not vote today will not be able to do so on February 26 when the general population polls. The police personnel will vote at the divisional headquarters where they are now assigned, while soldiers will vote at the main Jamaica Defence Force bases. Election day workers will vote at designated polling stations in each constituency. 34,878 students are registered to sit the 2024 primary exit profile test for grade 6. The administration of the two tests begins today, February 22. Students are sitting the ability test. The students will then sit the performance task on March 20 and 21, and the curriculum-based test on April 24 and 25. Acting Chief Education Officer in the Ministry of Education and Youth, Terrian Thomas Gale, says the group comprises of 17,721 males and 17,157 females. She says provisions have been made for students who have indicated special needs. With increased resources being dedicated to addressing mental health and wellness and ensuring that students can access the support they need to be resilient and achieve academic success, students are being encouraged to take advantage of the mental health support services that are available in schools. Danita Rodney has the details.
Since the reopening of schools after COVID-19, there have been increased awareness of and focus on the mental health impact of the pandemic on students. While addressing a wrapping with the Minister Forum at Jamaica College in St. Andrew on Tuesday, Minister of Education and Youth Favor Williams noted that various professionals in the education sector have been trained to be the first line of defense for our students. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Dr. Cassantrope, in further highlighting the work being done to address mental health issues among students, said that there are more than 1,000 guidance counselors in schools, as well as Dean of Discipline and Health and Family Life professionals. She further cited the provision of safe spaces like wellness benches, which give students the opportunity to unwind and reflect while being able to talk through issues with peers or educators. During the forum, students were also assured that the ministry continues to work hard in a fast-paced environment to increase their access to mental health services. Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I'm Danita Rodney.
$20 million has been earmarked to support the fisherfolk who were impacted by high-rising sea waves along Jamaica's coasts on February 6. Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Floyd Green made the announcement while attending the 67th staging of the Hague Agricultural and Industrial Show in Trelawney recently. He explained that waves, which were associated with cold front weather system, damaged fish pots, boats, and business establishments. Reports are that more than 200 fishers have been directly impacted, rendering them unable to go out to sea. Minister Green says the funds will help the fisherfolk to get back to their fishing pots, help them to repair their boats, and get them back on the seas to do their work. Residents of Lancewood in St. Elizabeth now have access to piped water. The National Water Commission's acting Vice President of Operations, Dr. Philippa Campbell Francis, says the project cost just about $6 million.
I want to make the point, Prime Minister, that this $6 million was really a drop in the bucket when we consider that it was part of a bigger program, because it could have only happened because of the works that were done to carry water through to middle quarters. And that project from Luana, that project was at a cost of $113 million. So the work has not stopped there, because we are also running pipelines from middle quarters as we speak to West Gate. And in addition to that, there is the commitment from the NWC or executive or management, every single member of staff, before the year is complete, that is 2024, that the work will be finished to bring the water to the other communities.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who was on hand for the official turn-on ceremony, says the development is a result of the government's commitment to increase water supply to Jamaicans.
I'm standing here today in fulfillment of a commitment. In fulfillment of a commitment. And why is it that we were able to find $100 million to do not just for Lancewood? This is a small part of a larger investment in water for middle quarters.
He advised residents in attendance that the water supply comes at a cost as a part of their utilities.
You are going to pay for your water. So you are now consumers. So your demand is not just of the government to provide the water. You are now a paying consumer. And the NWC has an obligation to maintain the delivery and service standards to you.
Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, your guide through the latest happenings in the world of business. The Bank of Jamaica maintains its policy rate at 7%. The Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, of the Bank of Jamaica unanimously decided to maintain the policy interest rate at 7% and stability in the foreign exchange market. However, they opted to further tighten Jamaican dollar liquidity conditions. The decision was informed by the growing Jamaican economy, which estimated GDP growth and a record low unemployment rate of 4.2% as of October 2023. The risks to Jamaica's GDP forecast over the next 8 quarters are assessed as balanced, with potential headwinds in tourism and positive factors like increased investment. The MPC noted the resilience of the U.S. economy, projecting a slowdown in 2024 due to factors like high inflation, tight monetary conditions, and reduced fiscal support. The domestic banking system is sound, and fiscal policy poses no immediate risk to inflation. JMMB Group Limited has advised that its Trinidad and Tobago financial entities are now indirectly controlled by JMMB Financial Holdings Limited, which is the financial holding company of the group licensed by the Bank of Jamaica as required under the Banking Services Act of 2014. The Trinidad and Tobago financial entities of the JMMB Group are now controlled by Jamaica Money Market Brokers Trinidad and Tobago Limited, which is in turn controlled by JMMB Financial Holdings Limited, which is in turn controlled by the ultimate parent, JMMB Group Limited. The change was effected via an amalgamation, which was effective as of January 31, 2024, and its effective date was received from the Trinidad and Tobago Companies Registry on February 16, 2024. JMMB Group has also advised that Director Mr. Hugh Duncan will retire from the board and its subsidiary JMMB Financial Holdings Limited, effective March 31, 2024. Mr. Duncan will continue to serve on the boards of Trinidad and Tobago, including JMMB Bank TNT Limited and its subsidiary JMMB Express Finance TNT Limited. Pastry Maker's Honey Bun has been increasing its inventory levels to mitigate against any instability in the supply chain of critical raw material. For the December 2023 quarter, Honey Bun, which is listed on the junior market of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, increased its inventories by $34.5 million, or 15.8% above the levels in the comparative period of 2022. At the same time, the Michelle Chong-led company continues to maintain a healthy bank balance with cash and cash equivalents closing the quarter under review at $508.2 million, which is a 42% increase when compared to the $357.9 million booked in December 2022. Net profits for the quarter closed on $86.5 million, which is 25% above the prior year, as Honey Bun continues its profitable run. Investments in additional equipment amounted to $25.3 million, which was spent to increase the company's production capacity during the period under review. President Dr. Ifran Ali has recommitted his government's intention to establish an aluminum plant in Guyana. This consideration was announced by Chief Investment Officer Dr. Ram Sarup. Speaking at the Energy Conference, President Ali renewed his government's commitment towards realizing this. He said, considering Guyana's estimated US $1 billion in bauxite reserves and the expected drop in energy cost with the gas-to-energy project, an aluminum plant in Guyana is very much on the cards. He was at the time speaking of Guyana's master plan for using the gas-to-energy project to fuel economic growth. An important link to the master plan is bauxite. For years, we have been a prime exporter of raw material. Now with the opportunity the master plan gives us, using gas to do upstream and high-value production, the only disadvantage we have now is the cost of energy. President Ali noted that once the cost of energy comes down, it will create an opportunity for the country to manufacture its own aluminum rather than continue exporting bauxite, which Guyana has over 300 million tons in reserve. The last functional aluminum plant Guyana had was located in Wismar Linden, closed its doors in 1981. During trading on February 21, 2024, the top advancing stocks covered the technology, energy, and finance sectors on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Productive Business Solutions, 9.75% cumulative redeemable shares advanced by 30.15% for a $27.44 price increase to close at $118.45 with 190 shares traded. Wigton Wind Farm Limited shares advanced by 16% for a 16-cent increase to close at $1.16 with 25,739,356 shares traded. Jamaica Money Market Brokers Limited 7.25 cumulative shares advanced by 12.99% for a 23-cent price increase to close at $2 with 16,840 shares traded. On the declining stocks that traders experienced on February 21, 2020, the top three losers covered the technology, insurance, and construction sector on the stock exchange. T-Tech Limited declined by 17.27% for a 43-cent price drop to close at $2.06 with 10,501 shares traded. Iron Rock Insurance Company Limited declined by 16.67% for a 42-cent decline in price to close at $2.10 with 375 shares traded. Berger Paints Limited declined by 10.27% for a 68-cent drop to close at $5.94 with 3,336 shares traded. Trading activity on the first-tier market of the Trinidad and Tobago stock market for February 21, 2024 registered a volume of 152,685 shares crossing the floor of the exchange, valued at TT $1,197,657.42. JMMB Group Limited was the volume leader with 52,297 shares changing hands for a value of TT $75,836.47, followed by National Enterprise Limited with a volume of 29,471 shares being traded for TT $114,693.39. Moving from the money moves of investors, executives, and companies, we turn to the Forex market. On February 21, 2024, the Bank of Jamaica reported that US $95.7 million was bought from Forex traders, while US $107.7 million was sold to Forex traders. Buying directly from the Bank of Jamaica, foreign currency traders sold the US for $157.19 and bought the US dollar for $156.09. The difference between the buy and sell rate was $1.10, which represents a profit for Forex traders for every US dollar traded. Canadian Forex traders earned a trading profit of $1.52 from transactions with the Bank of Jamaica. The Canadian dollar was sold at $115.98 and bought for $117.50. For traders looking at the British pound, they pocketed a profit of $2.94, selling it for $197.04 and buying it for $194.10. For our credit report tip of the day, a well-rounded credit portfolio reflects a diverse mix of credit accounts, such as credit cards, loans, and mortgages. By diversifying your credit mix, you demonstrate your ability to handle different types of credit responsibility, which can bolster your credit worthiness. Explore opportunities to responsibly add new credit accounts over time, ensuring that your portfolio remains balanced and reflective of your financial stability. And with that, we wrap up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams. Appreciate your company. Stay well informed, stay ahead of the curve. Until our next update, take care.
In regional news, a 31-member delegation from the Saudi Fund for Development met with several officials of the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and the Nevis Island administration as they explored firsthand the development of the geothermal energy resource on Nevis. Glenn Bart reports.
The visit follows previous meetings, one held during the time of the 2023 CARICOM Saudi Arabia Summit, when a memorandum of understanding was signed for the development of geothermal on Nevis, and following meetings with the Saudi Fund for Development held during the COP28 conference in Dubai, also in 2023. According to the Minister of Energy, Convis Maynard, the officials arrived in the Federation to do an on-ground analysis of the geothermal project. The Federal Minister of Energy and the Nevis Premier Mark Brantley offered comments on the visit of the Saudi Fund officials.
And so we're happy that the team is here. They've met with the Prime Minister. They've met with the ministries here in St. Kitts. We are heading over to Nevis today to meet with, obviously, the Premier and the relevant stakeholders in Nevis and to visit the geothermal sites or some of the geothermal sites that have already been identified. The Saudi Fund for Development is very excited about partnering with us on this project, and we hope to have a successful partnership in the very, very near future.
Prime Minister Dr. Terence Chu said the collaboration with the Saudi Fund will help push the sustainable island state agenda for the benefit of the Federation's future growth and development. Glenn Barrett reporting for SK Newsline.
Within the first 2 days of the Guyana Energy Conference, Trinidad and Tobago's Ministry of Energy is already seeing a keen interest in its 2023 shallow water competitive bid round. Sunil Lala reports.
TNT's Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries has been making strides at the Guyana Energy Conference and Supply Chain Expo in gaining interest for the 2023 shallow water competitive bidding round on offer. On Monday, following the opening ceremony, Energy Minister Stuart Young promoted TNT's bid round, noting that it is open to exploration companies. Speaking with TTT News at TNT's Ministry of Energy booth at the Expo, bid round team lead Kimberly London said their presence at the event has attracted interest, including from a very interested party for the shallow water acreage.
So on Monday, I think we got like a very interested party, so we're following up with them as well. And it was based on interaction with the minister and the Guyanese minister as well.
Ms. London, who is also a senior geologist at the ministry, said the bid round was launched in October 2023 for 6 months, but has been extended until noon on May 27, 2024. 13 blocks are all up for bidding for the shallow water acreage, and the ministry is hopeful to have successful bids for all 13 by the deadline.
Our last bid round for shallow water would have been in 2018. So this is the one following our 2018 bid round. Now, in terms of the 2018 bid round, we made a lot of changes in terms of the process as well as some of the terms and conditions for this 2023 into 2024 bid round. So it is a learning curve for us as well. So we continually interact with the companies. We have consultations to understand, okay, what are you thinking and how we can improve our process as well as our offering to be more beneficial for both of us.
In previous bid rounds, multinational companies such as Shell, BP, Woodside and EOG would have acquired acreage in the past. Ms. London said it is open to all oil and gas companies to propose a suitable work program to explore the acreage.
So we have the acreage available for bid in cream. So we have our NCMA areas, which include Block 21 and Block 22. And we also have our West Coast acreage, which is Block 1B. And then we have some East Coast blocks on this side. And in between those blocks that are available for bid, we have our currently operated acreage. So on our East Coast, we have companies like Shell, BP and EOG. As well as we have Woodside, and in the north we also have Shell as well, and then we have De Novo on the western coast.
The Guyana Energy Conference, she said, is the ideal place at this time to promote and get the word out about TNT's shallow water bid round.
So because Guyana is like a focus right now, you would have, as you mentioned, all of the major companies who operate in the oil and gas business here. So with our presence here, they may be able to see our acreage as an option for them as well. Because again, you're here to look at the Guyana basin and understand what's going on in Guyana, but it may not necessarily be the right fit for you. So us being here allows us to interact with all of these companies in the business and get our acreage out there as well.
No offers have been in just yet, but Ms. London said this is normal as exploration companies normally submit their bids just days before the deadline. Sonolala, TDT News, Georgetown, Guyana.
Guyana hopes to strengthen its long-standing partnership with Brazil, a move Vice President Dr. Beata Jagdeo says is underpinned by goodwill and a recognition of the economic benefits that can be garnered for both countries.
The thing is that northern Brazil can benefit from energy integration with Guyana significantly. So they have an interest that is sustain the political, it's a political interest almost and an economic interest. We too have that interest because we believe going north can expand our markets and therefore we're driven by economic interests on both sides, not just by goodwill. The road to Brazil would allow them to get to the Atlantic in maybe 1/3 of the time that it takes goods from Brazil to get to the Atlantic through a different route. having maybe that corridor integrating our transmit. They buy a lot of power now in order to supply northern Brazil. Having a transmission main with power generated maybe from our gas or sharing our hydro potential could serve the interests of northern Brazil. We have now in Guyana major development in the intermediate savannas on soya and corn. We intend to be self-sufficient in not a few years and then exporting soya and corn. Northern Brazil does a lot of that. They need a ton of limestone to integrate with the soil to make them more productive in the savanna lands. They now have that to ship those. They can ship those through Guyana. So these are not based, the integration projects are not based on just good friendly relationship between Brazil and Guyana, which have been strong.
In sports, we go to athletics as 7 international teams are set to participate in the 2024 Gibson McCook Relays. The perennial event is set to kick off on Saturday, February 24 at the National Stadium in Kingston. Canadian teams Bramston Racers and Flying Angels will be showcasing their junior athletes on the track in the 4x100 meters and 4x200 meters relays. Representatives from Trinidad and Tobago will field teams in the 4x100, 4x200 and 4x400 meters relays. St. Kitts and Nevis will be represented by a high jump athlete, with the Bahamas entering a male club team for the 4x100 meters relay. Teams from the USA are gearing up to compete in the sprint and mile relays. These international competitors are among the 2,000 plus athletes registered to participate in the 51st edition of the event. Over now to cricket, as Cornwall College and Glenmore High are still basking in their victory at the Inter-Secondary Schools Sports Association's Grace Headley Cup Rural Area Cricket Competition that was held last week. Clarendon College and Garvey Maceo High played to a draw. The scheduled contest between Vere Technical and Mayday High was rained out. The newest franchise in the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League has been launched. The Antigua and Barbuda Falcons are officially revealed during a gala opening ceremony hosted by the franchise owners, Worldwide Sports Management Group.
The event was held on Tuesday evening at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, which will be the home of the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons when they compete in the 2024 edition of the Republic Bank CPL. Krishna Chris Prasad, founder and president of Worldwide Sports Management Group, was thrilled as he showcased the new team's name and the colorful and dynamic logo for the first time to excited guests. Mr. Prasad also expressed delight in having the team officially on board for the regional event, which attracts sold-out audiences for matches.
I wanted to be a part of cricket where I could make a difference in a territory among the youths, among professionals, and I think Antigua Barbuda lends itself to that, and I'm excited to. It's almost a new phase in our career. But yeah, I mean, the welcome here has been fantastic, and we're very happy to be a part of this whole family here.
The 2024 Republic Bank CPL will take place from August 28th to October 6th, with games taking place in Antigua for the first time in 10 years. The final will once again take place in Guyana at the National Stadium in Providence.
And that's it for the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBC Jamaica. Thank you so much for watching.